Welcome to Nerds Amalgamated, a podcast that covers the latest events in science, pop culture, and gaming.
I'm the professor, aspiring game developer, sci-fi aficionado, and completely and undeniably a geek trying to take over the world. I'll be breaking down the news from tech to gaming.
I am the DJ, a humble nerd, a big weeb,
and a watcher from the halls of the multiverse.
Just kidding. Anyways, I'll be breaking down all things comics to movies to anime.
Join us and stay hydrated as we quench you with witty banter, unintentionally hilarious hot takes, and trivia more fun than a night at the pub, courtesy of Nerds Amalgamated. Welcome back to Nerds Amalgamated. This week we're talking about how Warhammer won the war. Hammer. Getting viruses to do the work for you, and Netflix buying Warner Brothers. As always, we're supported by Res. You can get 10% off their energy drink for drinkres.com with the code NERDS, NERDS.
Very nice drink. Comes in crisp appleberry flavor.
So first up, we have Warhammer. Now, DJ, what's your experience with Warhammer?
Aside from, I do know a little bit about the factions that are involved in this universe. I know there's the difference between the Space Marine, the Blood Angel, and my favorite side are the Necrons, cause go Cybermen, and they're broken as hell. But in terms of playing experience, I haven't played the tabletop itself. I've been playing a lot of the I played a lot of the Dawn of War PC game, which was a good game.
Yeah, that's most of my experience with it too.
Yeah, Dawn of War 2, or is it Dawn of War 1, which has the Dark Crusade. That's it. That version was the best in my opinion.
And it just got a 20-year anniversary edition.
Nice.
Well, not old at all.
Yeah, it was Dawn of War 1. Dawn of War 1 will always still be my favorite Warhammer game.
Yeah, so we've got decades of Warhammer, but how did we get here?
Well, it wasn't by charging everyone a shit ton of money for the figures, that's for sure.
Are you sure? Because they're doing that and they're still around, so it must be how they got here.
Damn.
So the first edition of Warhammer was published in 1987, and it is the world's most popular miniature war game. And I think the way it's got to where it is by vertical integration. So Games Workshop, who publish Warhammer, sell everything you need to get into the game. They control the stores you go and buy it at. They design the products, they manufacture them, and then they keep churning out new expansions, editions, and models. And that keeps people coming back.
Nice.
I like this quote from Jason Andrew, who is a Warhammer collector since the age of 12. He says, players don't just buy a product, they join a cult or lifestyle.
Yeah, it is a cult is a very strong word. It is a lifestyle for sure. Damn. I know a couple of people that have like Warhammer figures all around their office or their workspace, and it is insane.
They're not cheap either, but it's really the only place you can get it. It's a monopoly on the models for Warhammer. Sure, you could play with some other models or tokens or something.
Yeah.
But if you want the full experience, you basically have to go with Games Workshop. I just seem to have made a mistake here. I said that the first edition was in 1987. That's the first edition of Warhammer 40k.
Yep.
The original was Warhammer Fantasy, which was 1983, and has had its own history up until today, but I think more people know Warhammer 40k, at least up until a few years ago when the Total War series did a series of games based on Warhammer Fantasy.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah. And then they also and then Warhammer also tried to get involved in the MMORPG genre with Warhammer Online, which
Everyone was doing it.
Yeah. Which, if I recall correctly, didn't work well. Yeah, the Age of Reckoning, if I recall correctly. Yeah.
I think the other big advantage they've got is that there's something for everyone in it. Because you've got the split between Warhammer Fantasy and Warhammer 40k. And then you can break it down further. You've got video games, you've got tabletop. They're working on a TV show with Amazon.
Oh yeah, Henry Cavill's going to be involved in it too.
Yeah, the ultra nerd Henry Cavill. And even within 40k, which I have the most experience with, there's horror and comedy. Like the orcs are just ridiculously silly. The human factions are sort of a middle ground. And then you've got the horror of having things like Necrons and Tyranids, unstoppable killing machines, where the best thing to do if you spot them on a planet is to just blow it up.
Okay,
Forget the civilians, just nuke the planet.
okay. In your opinion, which Warhammer faction best represents the average fan? In your opinion,
I don't think you should aspire to identify with any of the factions because they're all horrible. That's sort of the theme of Warhammer.
yeah.
Everyone is bad. So you can identify with the space Nazi humans, or the space Nazi Elder, or the mindless killing machine Tyranids, or the space Nazi Necron.
Are you trying to? Is there a theme going in this?
Yeah.
You're saying like everyone's a space Nazi at this point.
Well, basically every faction in Warhammer, is out to rule the universe and exterminate every other species.
I don't know. The Tau don't really do that.
I don't think you know enough of the lore about the Tau.
Okay, enlighten me.
They do horrible things to their captives. I don't remember the specifics, but I just know from reading comments online that they do horrible things to captives. And really, there's no good guys in Warhammer, which is why it's a bit scary when people identify too heavily with any faction. But my favorite faction was always the Imperial Guard when I played Dawn of War. I just like the aesthetic.
Oh yeah, the Astra Militarium. Nice. With Warhammer's success, you reckon its appeal is rooted more in the gameplay, the lore, or the hobby of painting?
Well, that goes back to my point about something for everyone. If you like painting miniatures, you can just collect the miniatures and paint them. If you like the gameplay, you can collect the miniatures and play without painting or use tokens or something to represent the models. If you like the lore, there's hundreds of books written about it.
Yeah. And how much of Warhammer's success is due to that community culture rather than the product itself, you reckon? You reckon it's a huge chunk of it, or you reckon the community culture is kind of like it's 10% and the product is 90%?
Yeah, I reckon the community is a big part of it.
Because there are a lot of fan clubs and a lot of fan communities in you see in hobby shops as well, and Facebooks as well, and social media are now being a thing.
Yeah, well, that's social media now being a thing. Now, social media has been a thing for decades.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think the community is a huge part of the success of Warhammer because you take a game without any players and nobody's going to spend money on it. And if you go to your local game shop and check out what people are playing, you're going to want to play what they're playing.
Be like, that'll be $150 thanks if you want to join our group.
No, it's more that you want to support the local game shop. So you go in and rent a table or whatever. But you also buy your paints and your miniatures from there.
Yeah. You reckon you reckon Games Workshop is a brilliant business, or has it just turned into the Disney of tabletop gaming?
I'm not so sure that it's brilliant business or that it's they make a lot of they've made a lot of mistakes and upset a lot of people. But they also manage to keep going when they stumble. Other companies have failed there.
Yeah.
Like Battletech was a big thing in the 90s. They published the company that made Battletech, FASA, something like that.
FASA.
Yeah, they published BattleTech and Shadowrun then got sued because they copied some models of their mechs from anime,
Oh yeah.
and they got sued by Harmony Gold. So I think to some extent Warhammer is the winner because the other companies screwed up too badly to keep
Yeah.
going.
So if Warhammer was to be launched today, would it survive, or would social media tear it apart? You reckon?
I don't think social media would tear it apart, but I don't think if tabletop didn't exist today, I don't think it would have as much staying power if they launched it fresh. Because, well, we also wouldn't have D&D if games like Warhammer didn't exist. Because Gary Gygax, who created D&D, apparently was playing a game of some tabletop miniature game, and was like, what if we, instead of controlling an army, controlled a single character?
Yeah. And that's how D&D was born.
Yeah.
So okay, so in terms of Warhammer with tabletop gaming and with Warhammer and D&D introduced, how has Warhammer shaped nerd culture in the last decade?
Absolutely hugely. Like, you go to any sort of convention and there's someone walking around dressed as a space marine.
Oh yeah, and not to mention the insane amount of Warhammer related merchandise as well that we're selling as well.
Yep.
Yeah. So for anyone that wants to start Warhammer, where should they start? Should they start with the painting, the lore, or the gameplay?
I don't know about starting the tabletop. I know we have a Warhammer store in Chermside. I've walked past there a couple of times and noticed that they have come in and try painting your first miniature signs. So I guess you start there, but it feels a bit silly to paint a miniature if you're not going to play with it. So maybe you start with generic models or tokens and then build up from there.
Although, mind you, the painting itself, would you think you reckon it's a form of meditation or just a financially expensive coping mechanism?
It can be both.
Yeah, but but painting miniatures, like I mean, even if it's therapeutic, this therapy will cost $700 a session. That's a yeah. I wouldn't call that therapeutic if it's $700.
Well, maybe you have the disposable income for that.
Yeah. But you were initially briefly mentioned on the digital entertainment world. So why does a slow tactile hobby thrive in digital entertainment nowadays?
Probably because they let the game developers do whatever they want, really. You've got RTS, third person shooters, tactics games.
Battle royales.
Wait, there's a Warhammer Battle Royale?
No, I was thinking battle royale in general, but I didn't know there was a Warhammer battle royale. Give me a sec.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me.
From what I'm seeing, there was initially one called Warhammer 40K Battle Sector.
Okay.
It's a turn-based tactics video game developed by Black Labs. It was based on the Warhammer 40K. It's you played on a grid-based map with 10 or 50 units sized armies. With a 20-mission single-player campaign centers on the Blood Angels fighting Tyranids on the moon Baal Secundus. There is a player versus player multiplayer either via online hot seat or play by mail method. So yeah.
That's a blast from the past.
So how do you see? So you reckon Warhammer will, given how Warhammer is thriving so much over the years, you reckon it will still survive in the next 20 years, next 25 years in the current state, or
I think as long as they don't screw up too hard, they will.
so? What's your favorite faction?
I already told you that.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, that's right. Imperial Guard. Mine would either be the Necrons or the Chaos Marines. Cause damn, who doesn't like chaos?
The Imperium.
Are nuts. Hey, we are so crazy enough we can release biological weapons. Ha ha ha.
The Imperium does that too.
Oh really? Okay.
Yep. So, on with our next topic.
Mhm.
Getting viruses to do the work for you. Sung Wook Lee and his team at UC Berkeley have developed bioengineered viruses that collect rare earth elements. You take a harmless virus, which doesn't sounds a bit silly, because I can't imagine how a virus could be harmless. Maybe it means harmless to humans, because it's probably not harmless to the bacteria it attacks. You take a virus and genetically modify it so that one end of it collects the rare earth elements, in this case lanthanide, and on the other end of it have a elastin motif peptide that can be activated by temperature and cause it to leave the solution and drop off the rare earth elements. And once you've collected the rare earth element, you can recycle the viruses, feed them back into the slurry of, in this case, mine tailings, and then add some bacteria to multiply them, because that's how viruses work. They inject their DNA, well, or their RNA in some cases, into a cell and cause the cell to replicate the virus. They pick up the rare earth element, you heat it up, they come out, and you collect the rare earth element and repeat.
So instead of sending human miners to work to mine that stuff in bulk, we're sending viruses to mine these rare earth elements in tiny numbers.
Yeah, well, there's probably lots of them, more than you'd think. You send
Yeah.
tiny numbers of viruses, but each virus is only going to pick up a tiny little particle of material because they are tiny themselves.
Although I could, if we were to take this to the logical endpoint, I could totally see. Hey, there's Ebola mining gold over there. Oh, cancer. They're mining some diamond over there. Oh, AIDS. It's doing jade this time around. What else? You see where I'm going with this? Can you imagine all your favorite diseases just like working working in the mines?
Well, we wouldn't use viruses that infect humans because that's too easy to cause an apocalypse. Genetically modifying viruses to infect humans to do things other than infect humans sounds like it's way more risky than genetically modifying bacteriophages, which are viruses that attack bacteria.
Yeah.
Because we already don't care about bacteria.
So, do you think this sort of mining could replace traditional rare earth mining, or will it always stay a niche technology? You reckon?
I think currently it would help make things more sustainable by letting you get a greater amount of the desired mineral out of the rock. In the future, you could possibly use it for something like seawater purification mining. There's a, well, not purification, but there's a type of mining where you take seawater, which collects a whole bunch of rare earth elements and basically take out the rare earth elements. You mine the seawater.
Wait,
And
isn't that what desalination plants do anyway?
no, that's taking the salt out to make it drinkable.
Okay.
There's a lot less of the rare earth elements than there is of the salt.
Okay. Then you also have to wonder with the toxic waste element, like how big a deal is it that this avoids the toxic waste usually linked to rare earth extraction?
It's huge because we need rare earths to have a advanced society.
Yeah.
But we also don't want to destroy the only planet we can live on.
Yeah, that's true. The hard part is going to be trying to market it to a bunch of boardroom directors. But imagine saying that, how do you feel about using genetically engineered viruses in your industrial process? Does it sound exciting or worrying? Like imagine trying to market that to he will come up with a lot of questions in relation to it.
I don't think businessmen think that hard.
I guess.
Like the Futurama quote with the intelligent monkey.
Which
How
one?
does I've forgotten exactly how it goes, but he decides he just wants to be a moderately intelligent monkey. That's why he's decided to go to business school.
Oh yeah. And the professor's response was like, "No."
Yeah.
He got really mad about it. But although, mind you, that episode was basically everyone was getting sick and tired of Gunther as well.
Yeah, but this also, I think, has some interesting applications of cleaning wastewater, maybe taking up heavy metals in the human body.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. My question is, with now that you water side of things, would you be okay with it though, with biomining viruses being used in cleaning your water supply and
Yeah,
being near your water supply? I mean.
yeah, I'd be happy with that.
I mean, there used to be there was remember when the drought happened in early 2000s at
Yeah,
our town, and people were looking at the idea of using recycled water as drinking water, and people were like, "Oh, it's a terrible idea," and it could we could see a new debates rising up from
which
this
is
scenario.
funny because recycled water is clean to a higher standard than regular fresh water is.
Yeah, and that's also going to be another marketing issue as well. Like, how would you tell to a bunch of people, hey, your water is going to be cleaned by biomining viruses. Are you guys okay with that, or you're not okay?
As long as the anti vaxxers don't get involved, I think more people would be okay with it than not.
Yeah, I also hope this doesn't turn into a fluoride in the water scenario. Remember when years ago there used to be a push for fluoride and then years later they regretted that decision. Like, oh, we regret fluoride in the water.
Which is stupid because it doesn't harm you. In the amounts that they add fluoride to water, you would die of water toxicity before the fluoride would harm you. The other states all have fluoride in their water and they're fine. There's actually one town in the Northern Territory where there's naturally occurring fluoride in levels that are harmful, but it's, the dose makes the poison.
Okay.
In the levels that it's in drinking water, it massively decreases dental issues, which lead to a massively increased quality of life.
Okay. And you were also saying how this would help clean the water in terms of the water. Could you see it work in areas where garbage has been on water for years and years? Like, remember the Great Garbage Patch? How there's a guy that's been trying to clean that thing for years, for a decade, for nearly a decade now.
Yeah, I don't think viruses are going to clean up the Great Pacific Garbage Patch because it's just too big. Remember, viruses are very small.
Yeah.
So I think the viruses will be used to clean up microplastics rather than macroplastics.
Yeah, yeah, I could see that. Yeah, yeah. Now, when I think about it, can you imagine mining companies being involved in this idea? I bet mining companies will hate this until they figure out how to profit from it.
Yeah, they'll figure it out.
And if it works, goodbye geopolitical rare earth monopolies.
Yeah, that would be helpful for reducing dependency on China.
Yeah, yeah.
So why don't you tell us about Netflix?
And about Netflix. Netflix has agreed to acquire Warner Brothers Discovery Film and Studios plus its streaming business under a definitive agreement with a total enterprise value of, wait for it, 82.7 billion US dollars. That's a lot of moolah. Under this deal, each Warner Brothers Discovery share be bought for $27.75 per share, comprising of $23.25 cash and $4.50 worth of Netflix stock. So, for any share market person that interested in this, buy now, buy now, buy now.
No, that's not how it works.
Oh, come on, it worked for GameStop.
No, it didn't.
Really? Fair enough. So, this acquisition is contingent on Warner Brothers Discovery spinning off its global networks division, that is cable news sports channels, into a separate company to be called Discovery Global, which is expected to complete in the third quarter in 2026, and then regulatory and shareholder approvals. So, what does Netflix get out of it? Uh, Netflix inherits a massive content library, film and TV franchises from decade-old classics and hits. This include major IPs from Warner Brothers blockbuster film titles and huge franchises, premium streaming services access, so HBO Max's catalog, including high-profile shows and prestige content under Netflix umbrella, expanded production and distribution capabilities. Netflix says it intends to maintain Warner Brothers' current operations, including theatrical releases for films, combining traditional movie studio infrastructure with its own streaming first model. So, the key caveats to this whole thing, this deal is still a need to clear regulatory approvals and also depends on Warner Brothers completing its spin-off of its non-streaming assets. There will almost certainly be scrutiny over antitrust and competitive issues, combining two giants like Netflix and HBO Max slash theaters that could prompt regulators to investigate. And even if it passes, how Netflix integrate and manages all these new assets while balancing streaming, theatrical releases, and global content strategy will be complex and could determine whether this deal succeeds or not.
That's a lot of new content for Netflix.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. This is a couple of commentators agree that this is one of the biggest shakeups in Hollywood history, and that Netflix moving from streamer to full Hollywood studio plus global distributor gives it unprecedented, which makes you wonder: does this deal officially mark the end of the streaming wars, or is this the beginning of a new war?
I think it's probably coming to a close.
Yeah, because I mean, I mean, the streaming wars for the longest time has now it kind of it feels like it's died off. I agree with you there because you haven't seen much like streaming studios competing over where to put content or whatnot. And I think if I recall correctly, Netflix was deciding to increase prices again.
Probably. That's why a monopoly's not good for us.
No, Netflix hasn't increased any prices. The last price
Yet.
hike was in 13th of August, yeah. And is this the moment when Netflix becomes the new Disney?
Possibly.
Yeah, because you remember when Disney decided to launch their own streaming studio, it was nuts.
Yep. Now Netflix is going to be the one of the biggest streamers again.
Yeah, yeah. What's also going to be interesting is can you imagine seeing the Netflix logo in theatrical releases?
I don't think that would be weird at all.
Yeah, yeah. The biggest question for this big acquisition would be the creators. Like, what does this mean for creators? Will there be more opportunities with a giant budget, or few buyers and less creative freedom? Because this is Netflix after all, and
I'm just interested to see the if Netflix runs June into the ground now.
oh no! Oh, I didn't even mention June, and you mentioned it. Damn, I didn't even think about that. Oh, June is gonna be. You reckon June's gonna be doomed, or
I don't know. I mean, we already knew we were only getting the 3 movies,
yeah,
and then
the series?
yeah, there's a series, but I don't know who will adapt any movie past the 3rd book because the 4th book is where things get really weird.
Wait, okay, how weird are we saying here? Like, are we saying like it includes like more gory violence or
No, more weird sex stuff. Oh, so I turned myself into a sandworm, Morty.
Oh no! So wait, let me get this straight. So the first 3 movies of June, if the third movie comes out, was all about hope and rebellion and stuff, and then it devolves into sex, sex, sex.
Wow, you missed the point. It's about tyranny.
I get that the whole rebellion and then like I said, it's gonna get worse.
Nah, the sex stuff doesn't really show up until book 5.
Okay.
Like, I don't know if Frank Herbert. They're still interesting books, but there's these little weird things that slip in, and I don't know if Frank Herbert was getting weird, or if he was always weird, or if he was like trying to upset the publisher and see what he could get away with.
Mother
But
of Christ.
I mean, there's a scene in the fourth book where a woman watches a man climbing a
No, no, no,
cliff.
no, 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 no. Let's not spoil it for for the June fans. Let them experience it themselves. How about
All
that?
right.
And plus, I want to keep this a little bit family friendly.
You've never worried about that before.
If we're gonna go to the very extreme, I don't want to go into it.
Oh, trust me, this bit was tame.
Oh, I don't know. Your version of tame is not my version of tame at times. Okay, let's put it that way. Vice versa. But okay. That said, though, with Netflix owning HBO, and you know how HBO is famous for shows like Game of Thrones, and Game of Thrones, we all know Game of Thrones. Besides the gratuitous violence, was always crazy about was always into the big sex stuff, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Are we about to see the Game of Thrones Netflix edition? Like where it become or are we gonna see a creatively neutered mess? Because you know how Netflix they've also got their own like crazy stuff involved.
Do they?
Eh, I
I don't remember there being as much sex and violence in Netflix originals as there is in
I mean
HBO stuff.
even the Love, Death and Robots, I always thought they were crazy on the Love, Death and Robots side.
Yeah, but those still don't have explicit sex and violence as much as
HBO.
HBO does. At least Game of Thrones. I don't know much of what HBO does.
Well, even alternate carbon as well?
I've never
Or
seen Altered Carbon.
okay, not Altered Carbon. What was the other one? Black Mirror. That's the one.
Yeah, like that's still they don't show it on screen as much. And Black Mirror is more psychological, visceral.
Okay, okay. What I'm going to be more worried about in this entire with this acquisition is the DC universe, because now that Netflix has got the DC universe, how are they going to survive with? Because we've seen Netflix with the Marvel projects and they did an okay job with it, but now they've got DC on this on board. What is going to be the next what's will this be the end of the James Gunn run, or are we going to see a continuation of the James Gunn run?
I don't see why they'd get rid of James Gunn. I mean, they hired him back after he got fired for being a creep
Yeah. Oh, I remember that.
and posting on Twitter like pedophilia jokes and stuff.
Yeah,
And he
yeah.
got fired, and then they hired him. So
Mm,
they clearly don't have a problem with that. So I don't think they'd get rid of him unless something else comes out.
yeah. Yeah.
So let's
Yeah.
move on with our shoutouts. On the 1st of December 2025, we passed the 10th anniversary of Just Cause 3. Hard to believe it's been 10 years.
Oh yeah. And you were a big fan of that game, weren't you?
I am a big fan of Just Cause. I've actually been thinking of doing a replay of the whole series.
Nice.
I still think Just Cause 2 was peak, but I never played Just Cause 4. Well, I haven't yet. I do plan to sometime. It just seems like it's more of Just Cause 3 with up to 11, which is sort of the series. It's up to 11 the series. Everything explodes. I mean, the second game has a scene where you're using your grappling hook to ride on a rocket as it takes off.
Oh, that is epic. That sounds
Yeah.
epic.
Like you're trying to stop a rocket launch and you have to grapple onto the rocket and hack it. So one of the big improvements from Just Cause 2 to Just Cause 3 was vehicle handling. The vehicle physics in Just Cause 2 were rough.
Was it just the maneuverability, or is it just the way the camera was located,
The
or
maneuverability wasn't great. In fact, I remember in Just Cause 3 it still wasn't great. So but you're not it's not a driving game. You're getting around in your grappling hook and your wingsuit. Just Cause 3 was set in the southern Mediterranean, which Avalanche Studios considered an untapped resource no other developer had worked on before.
the southern? That's Italy and all those countries.
Yeah, it's sort of South Italy, Monaco, those sorts of places.
Oh yeah.
And on the 3rd of December 2005, X-Corp Aerospace made the first crewed rocket aircraft delivery of US mail in Kern County, California. So 20 years ago, X-Corps Aerospace flew the Easy rocket, a rocket-powered Long Easy aircraft they built as a demonstrator for their reusable rocket engines, from Mojave, California to California City, California, both in Kern County. So I'm just going to check how far that actually is.
Yeah.
Cool, there's still an air and spaceport in Mojave.
Oh, nice.
And it looks like there's even a public transport between Mojave and California City, and it would take you 30 minutes to get the train. Or no, that's a bus icon actually.
Oh, damn.
So it didn't go far. How far is it by car? It's 17 minutes by car, 14.9 miles. 15 miles is 24 kilometers.
That's not that far. No.
By car, so as the bird flies, it would be closer. I also don't see a landing strip in California City, so I wonder where they landed. I'm just looking at it on Google Maps now.
Okay.
I'm getting way too into the weeds here.
You went into the rabbit hole.
Yep.
Ah, yeah.
Scrolling the Mojave almost makes you wish for a nuclear winter. Anyway, this flight was flown by Dick Rutan, which lasted 9 minutes and carried US mail from the post office in Mojave to addresses in California City. So did they drop it? Maybe? Like, to addresses in implies to me that they went to each house and dropped it off. So did they
Drop it
did they
into the
parachute it?
Yeah. In 9 minutes. That's yeah.
Yeah, and Rutan was awarded the 2005 Louis Blériot Medal by the FAI for making this flight.
I mean,
Blériot, maybe? I don't speak enough French to get that.
here's a funny thought. Now that Christmas is coming up and Australia and everyone's putting out their letters to Santa and all the presents and stuff. Can you imagine Australia Post adopting this?
Well, that's the thing. People have been trying to make rocket mail a thing for over 100 years. In the 1930s, I think it was actually one of our messed up moments. In the 1930s, I think it was, Brisbane had a rocket mail demonstration where they tried to
No.
use a rocket to launch mail across the river. It hit a boat and fell into the river.
Oh no! Oh, shit. Yeah, I'm seeing it now. It was particularly with the Australian Rocket Wow, we had a rocket society
Yeah,
by Alan H. Young, who launched rockets carrying letters across the Brisbane River between 1934 and 1937, aiming to connect ships to the shore and experimenting with mail delivery to the SS Mahino. Though many flights were only partially successful, becoming popular with stamp collectors.
yeah. So there was this company back then that went around Australia demonstrating rocket mail in different cities. And for our next shout out, on the 5th of December this year, Kari Hiroyuki Tagawa passed away. He was a Japanese born American and Russian actor and producer who was best known for his role as Shang Tsung in the Mortal Kombat franchise. He was
Yeah.
in The Last Emperor, License to Kill, Showdown in Little Tokyo, American Me, Rising Sun, Mortal Kombat, and the Phantom, and a whole bunch of others.
Yeah, I'm gonna miss his iconic quote like this: "Your soul mine." Yeah, I'm gonna miss that line now when the way he says it.
Tagawa, excuse me, you heard that right?
Yeah, I heard that.
Anyway, Tagawa founded his own martial arts and healing system in the 1980s called Chu Shin, and it was also referred to as martial alchemy. He was the first and only choice for the role of Shang Tsung. He came to the audition in a costume and read his lines standing on a chair. So, DJ, what is our messed up moment this week?
Okay, since I mentioned the whole DCEU franchise with Netflix buying Warner Brothers, I decided to delve into the old school DC with from the Christopher Reeve Superman movie.
Yes.
So there was one Superman movie which I think nobody likes it, nobody would like it, and that was Superman number 3. And this is the one where the world's most world's most powerful supercomputer, constructed on the behalf of evil CEO Ross Webster, almost kills Superman. That is until the guilt-ridden programmer who built the machine, Gus, attempts to destroy it. The sentient piece of technology's response, turning the movie on a dime into a David Cronenberg's body horror flick for 35 seconds, as one of Gus's aides gets sucked into the supercomputer, and as she screams, electricity surrounds her and metal plates begin affixing themselves to her tortured face and body until she completely transformed. The entire affair is capped off by a truly unnerving shot. The woman's now metallic eyelids reopen to reveal solid silver eyeballs unblemished by pupil. Not only is it unexpected, but this incredibly traumatizing. Talking about a justifiable fear of technology. And I've got the video here, and yeah, it is terrifying. Truly terrifying seeing the whole ordeal.
Okay then.
It's like watching the Cyberman process coming to life.
On the 3rd of December 2015, our wacky movie I Am Dragon premiered in Russia. It starred Matt V. Lykov and Maria Pozheva, and the plot is that in the midst of a wedding, Princess Miroslava is kidnapped by a dragon and carried away to his castle on a remote island. Mira left everything behind. Now, the only thing she had were a stone cage and a mysterious young man named Armin. But who is he and what is he doing on that island? Miroslava will learn the truth too late. Loving a dragon will reveal the bitter truth. Love is scary.
Yeah.
So it's Beauty and the Beast, but with a dragon.
Okay, and what's funny about this? There are multiple variations to that title. The title, the variations is he's a dragon or he is dragon. In English territories, it's I am dragon, and in Germany, it is dragon. Love is a scary tale.
It's loosely based on Marina and Sergei Dyachenko's 1996 fantasy novel The Ritual.
And if you, also if you go to the Wikipedia article for the he is a dragon, it looks like a romance novel.
Does.
The cover.
Yeah. Yes, the two characters, the man shirtless, lying in a bed of roses. And the poster took 16 hours to shoot.
The novel itself, by the way, this was made in 1996, and it received little attention and was not awarded any prizes.
Oh dear.
Like, how would you make a Bible based not Bible how would you make a movie based on that?
85% of the movie consisted of computer graphics.
Yeah, and that was with the help of Russians as well. Like, wow, how
Yeah, what does that even mean? Because this was 2015, they had access to all the same computers we did.
must have been some really interesting tech they must have been playing with.
Anyway, that's all we have for you this week. Look after yourself, stay hydrated, and we'll see you next time.
Uh, check out our social media. We're also on Spotify and your platforms. We also have a Kofi account, and if you want to support our podcast, support us through there. The link will be in our show notes. And we also have our Twitch streams as well, which we play a fun bunch of games. I've been playing Damon X Machina and some Marvel Rivals. So stay happy, stay nerdy. See you guys.